illegal ham in the face. But bro, where's the banjo?
Some Cleveland sports shows try to give you hot takes, but only one can give you a big old piece of hot ham. Welcome to Illegal Ham to the Face. Talking all Cleveland sports. And don't forget our Fat Boy Tuesday, where we also ham it up with some fun food topics. Without further ado, let's serve up some ham. Here are the Ham Boys, Fatty, and Big Bry.
But Dad, isn't it time for illegal ham in the face?
You take one day off and it just keeps coming, Brian. My bad, everybody. What's going on, everybody? I want to thank everybody. I know it's not Tuesday. I know it's Wednesday. I was a little under the weather yesterday, so I appreciate that. So Brian and I decided to try to do this tonight during the Cavs game coming up at 7:30 as the series is tied 2-2, and we'll get into the Cavs. The Browns draft. I have trivia tonight. We are also doing favorite desserts, I believe I have on the, if I do have it right, is it favorite dessert? Yes, favorite desserts. And then we're going to do our top 3 cartoon shows that we've enjoyed as kids or adults. James is in here tonight. What is going on, James?
What's up, James?
Bri, how was your week, buddy? How was draft night for you?
Great. Yeah, had a great weekend. A lot of fun. Got out on the golf course on Sunday, so got to swing it around a little bit. So between that and watching the draft, it was awesome. A couple nice days.
Perfect. We had a blast at Flyers Bar and Grill.
Looked like it. Yeah, looked like a lot of fun.
Yeah, we had everybody from the 216 showed up. So we had Mike Voorhees, Brian Shaw, other Brian, Matt. Oh my God, Big Mike showed up. So we had a blast there, and we had a couple other guests kind of come through and say hi. So it was a good time, held by all. A lot of live reactions. And what really sucked about it, though, is Twitter was about 3 picks ahead of the actual NFL draft.
Oh, I know. I tuned in just as we were getting ready to pick at 24, and it sounded like you guys already knew what the pick was. So I was like, all right, I can start heading to bed. I still watched it, but I was like, okay, I know who we got here. But yeah, that should never be the case. But it sounded like you kept seeing the pick is in, and then it would just sit there for 5 minutes, or they would go to commercial when the pick is in.
They had to draw it out, Brian. I mean, it actually did. It felt like it went a lot quicker than other drafts.
Oh, yeah.
But it was like, okay, dude, the pick's been in for 20 minutes. You only got 8 minutes on the clock. What the hell is going on here? So, that kind of thing. But, it's for TV. You know what it is? It's for everybody else.
And it moved along pretty good. I think it was over by around 11 o'clock or so. So on the East Coast, you'll take it.
Heck yeah, you'll take that. I'll definitely take that getting home before midnight, especially after doing a live show, Bri.
Sure.
So you can't beat that. So tonight we are going to get into Browns draft. We're going to recap that. We're going to talk Cavs and Raptors, which they tip off tonight at 7:30 on ESPN. And then we're not going to talk guards tonight. Like I said, we went through everything else. So, Bri, do you have any shout-outs, bud?
No, I can't think of any shout-outs. I'll keep it moving.
All right. I can't think of any shout-outs either offhand. Just a great time with the guys at the 216 at the Flyers Bar and Grill. That's about all. And by the way, fun time with my wife today. Brian, you guys have a great Goodwill down there in Medina.
Oh, you went to the Goodwill on 18, huh?
Yeah, that big old barn.
Yeah.
That is definitely a nice Goodwill down there. So,
you did some thrifting, huh?
Yeah. Somebody had a doctor's appointment this morning, and we were already down there. So I'm like, okay, well, we saw it coming in. I'm like, I wonder how big that place is, because it's massive.
I don't really go there a whole lot. If we do thrift, and my wife used to be big into thrift, and she still is a little bit, but you'll have to check out in Fairlawn. There's a Salvation Army, I think. That's a good one. And then the other one she'll go to is in Brunswick, Volunteers of America. So
Yeah,
if you're a big
definitely those
thrifter,
cheer.
check out those for sure.
Yeah, but I love the barn though. I love the
Yeah,
whole aspect of the silo, everything else that was there. It was actually kind of nice.
it used to be like an ice cream hut upstairs in the silo. I forget what was downstairs. It might have been like a farmer's market or something. But I remember upstairs there used to be a ice cream shop. So we used to go there. Oh, they probably closed though. Maybe when I was 7 or 8 years old.
Yeah, it was a good time today. It was a good time. We had some fun.
Cool. Anywhere else in Medina did you go?
No, that was the only stop, and then
That was
we
it?
kind of headed back home. So it was kind of nice.
Do you go 71 to get to your house, or did you go back roads like up 83?
We went 71. It was a lot
You
quicker.
went 71. Okay, sure. Yeah, I guess if you're by 18 and 71, it's
Yeah.
easy to hop on the highway.
Yeah, she went to the clinic right there off of 18. So, all right, Brian, it
place.
is my turn for trivia tonight, and I think I got a doozy for you, and it's NFL draft doozy for you.
You know, I like that.
All right, so let's play the sounder and let's have some fun tonight. Trivia is brought to you by City Dogs Cleveland. Please, if you can adopt a dog, do it from City Dogs Cleveland. If you cannot adopt, please volunteer, donate, do whatever you can to help a city dog from City Dogs Cleveland. Bri, the Browns surprised us with back-to-back wide receiver picks in the first and second round with Casey Concepcion and Denzel Boston. So, Bri, I'm going to ask you, there was one other instance that they have gone back-to-back wide receiver picks. Can you tell me the names of the players that were picked?
I may have just got it, but we'll see. Because that's a tough question, but for some reason this rings in my head. Is it in our lifetime?
Yes.
Okay, good. I feel better about that then. Very good. All right, I got something for you.
All right, let's bump the Cleveland headlines and let's get this show pumping so we can go watch the Cavs. All right, first off in your Cleveland headlines tonight, Bri, the Cavs were up 2-0, and then they laid a couple stinkers in Toronto. Series is tied 2-2. It is back here in Cleveland. Bri, kind of disappointed in how the team played up in Toronto, especially the last game where they scored only, 86 points. I feel like Bob Uecker when I say 86 points in a NBA playoff game. Like, that's all we scored was 86 goddamn points, but that's all we scored was 86 goddamn points. So, Bri, your thoughts on the heading to Toronto and where the series is at now, because tonight's a must win.
Yeah, you don't love it after where we were sitting here this time last week, having a 2-0 series lead and blowing them out kind of in one game, but it's the NBA playoffs and nothing is given, everything is earned, and I checked to see if you had trivia tonight because I had a trivia question for you. I was going to save it maybe for next week, but what is the Cavs record since LeBron left in road playoff games?
It's not good.
I think maybe the only wins we have on the road is in Miami, and that's a team that just laid down for you, so that we swept. Like, I don't think we ever beat the Magic on the road, so we were 0-3 there, and then we lost 5-1, 5-1, 5-1 in those other series, or 4-1, and I think the one that we got was at home in each one of those. So I think the only team Donovan Mitchell as a Cavalier has ever beat is the Miami Heat, and that was a team that just didn't have any interest in playing for whatever reason. So Yeah, that's why I was kind of thinking like this could go 7, regardless of how the first couple games go, because that's what we do. We play much better at home than we do on the road, and Toronto just had no business winning that game on Sunday. They were shooting terrible. For the game, I think I saw they shot 13% from 3-point line and like 32% overall. So you're not even making 1 out of every 3. And it's like, how do you lose a game like that? But we just, they did what we thought they might do at the beginning of the series. They out physicaled us, and they just kind of hung around, and then they got a lot of calls and made a lot of free throws at the end. So you can't take anything for granted. I feel good about tonight, but then we have to go back to Toronto, and I don't feel good about us finishing, even though both games were kind of close. Well, up until we stopped trying in Game 3. Were you able to watch that Game 3, much at all?
I watched enough of it.
I didn't really watch hardly any. Like my plan was to, but I just got consumed by the draft, so I kept an eye on it.
We kind of had running total what was going on, during the draft while we were there, so we weren't able to watch a lot of it, but everybody was kind of keeping tabs of it. And then once we got into like the fourth quarter, that's when it was like we found out what the score was. It's like, what the? And by the way, I was wrong. It was 89 points, Brian. They scored 89 points.
I think again, I'm pumped for tonight's game because through the first 4 games, I really haven't had a chance to watch the entire game. I've just had other stuff going on at that time. Sunday was golf, and then my mom had a choir concert that we went to at our church, and so I'm kind of in the pews, keeping an eye on it. And then eventually I gave up on it and just said I'll watch it when I get home because I didn't want to make too much of a scene. With a toddler at church, you're trying to corral her. So I watched it at the end, and then I saw us just fall apart the last 6 minutes. But we have to close, and that's something that we haven't been able to do. And Sunday was like a rock fight. I think I checked in at one point, and midway through the third quarter or the second quarter, and it was like 30-21 or something like that. I couldn't believe the score. Like, is this going back to the 80s basketball or something? Like how both teams are just shooting terrible. And I don't know if that's just kind of how playoff basketball is, but I don't see other teams struggling that much. And so great defense on our part, but the offense is just terrible. And we can get into individual players and just their struggles the last couple games. But as a team, when you're playing a team that is shooting as poorly as Toronto is, you just have to put them away.
Yeah, and you definitely didn't, especially on Sunday. It was god awful to watch, Brian. I think and I've noticed this with the Cavs. It's always the 1:00 game on Sundays that they're on that they throw out a stinker, and they just look horrible. But Brian, I mean, looking at the stats from that game, you had Donovan Mitchell. He only scored 20 points. He was 6 of 24 from the field. You had James Harden, 6 of 14. Evan Mobley was 4 of 11. Your hottest shooter that was out there was Sam Merrill, and he went 5 for 9. But what's pissing me off about these guys is they're getting down to the point they're not even taking wide open shots anymore. Like I've seen Strus, I see Merrill, I've seen Tyson, and I see Wade. Every time they get the ball in their hand, they're afraid to shoot it, and then they kick it right back out to James Harden with like 4 seconds left on the clock, and he's got like a 45-footer that he's got to throw up. And it's like, what are you guys doing? Like, you guys got to shoot these. Like, I don't know what's going on. I hope they come back to some home cooking, Bri, because I think that's what they need. And they need to see some buckets falling. But, the one person, and, I thought this is going to be a very big matchup for him. And he started out good with the first game. But Evan Mobley's been kind of a clunker these past couple games, bud. And it's not been like even Jared Allen is non-existent in these games. And I'm starting to think, like, I'm not going to lie, if I was Kenny Atkinson tonight and Bryant is healthy, I would start putting Bryant in there for Jared Allen.
I don't know why we're not trying something like that. Jared Allen didn't do bad. Was it him? I think he grabbed a ton of rebounds
He got
on
15 boards,
Sunday,
but he scored 3 points, Bry.
but he scored 3 points. Right. So, and you already have Dean Wayne out there who can't score. So you can't have 40% of the guys on the court that are just inept on offense. That puts way too much pressure on the other three guys. And thankfully, Merrill stepped up and he played pretty well. I thought he tied it up at the end there because he should have got fouled. The dude grabbed his jersey and he was like 2 inches over the line for a three. So I thought it was going to be a 4-point play. I mean, what a shot that was. But it didn't end up working out for us. But yeah, we need guys like that, like Merrill, like Strus in game one. Still waiting on the Tyson breakout. We need these role players to kind of bust out and have 15 or 20 points to really pick up the slack for the other guys, because you can't count on Evan Mobley to have 15 or 20 every single night. So he's going to do what he does and hopefully grab a couple rebounds. He had a couple great offensive rebounds at the end of game 3 or game 4. But yeah, he's not getting it done offensively consistently enough. So he's not anybody that we can count on. I started thinking today or yesterday, like at this point where he's at right now, he would probably be the 4th best player on like a championship quality team. Mm-hmm. And like I started comparing him to like Andre Iguodala for Golden State a couple years ago. He was probably their 4th best player. Yeah, Al Horford. Like, who would you rather have, Iguodala or, Evan Mobley? Yeah. And you look at the Thunder last year. They have 3 players, and he would probably be the 4th on their team. I mean, just a lot of us think Chet Holmgren maybe has surpassed Evan Mobley, so he would be 4th on that team. You go back to the 2016 team with the big 3 with Love and Kyrie and LeBron. He would probably be the 4th best on that championship team.
Probably be the 5th on that team.
Yeah, right. Like he's right there with Tristan Thompson. Their games are a little different. But at least Thompson provided some physicality for you. So, like my expectations and my hope in Evan Mobley just is kind of like, hey, if you can get us 15 and 7, that's kind of what I expect from you. I'm done thinking that he'll be the best player on a championship quality team, because that's what we've heard ever since we drafted him and ever since we traded for Donovan Mitchell. Is, well, if you really want to be a championship contender, Evan Mobley needs to be your best player. And then Donovan Mitchell can be number 2. And I still believe that today. And unfortunately, he's not your best player. He's probably not your second best player. So where does that leave you? It leaves you in a 2-2 tie with number 5 seed that was in the play-in tournament a week before the season ended.
That's Jarrett's numbers. He better get a double-double tonight. So Big Mike's in the comments tonight. Big Mike, what's going on? But it was so nice seeing you at the draft party. We had so much fun together. So thank you. And then Justin's been in here. He said, happy KY Jelly Derby week. It is Derby week.
Oh, get out of here. I didn't even know.
Yeah. So, I mean, awesome. That's where we're at right now. Brian, what do you think about tonight's game? They're back at home. It's a must win. I put it out on Network 216 socials of like predicting what's going to happen tonight, whether it be a Cavs blowout, Cavs close win, blah, 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 blah. How do you see tonight's game going?
I think we'll play with some urgency. I think, they always say the role players, the fringe guys play better at home. So I think that'll be the case. I think you should expect more from Evan Mobley. Donovan Mitchell has this streak where he's scoring 30 points every time he takes the court in Cleveland. So I expect that to continue. And I think we'll play pretty well because we're the more talented team, and they've kind of out-physicaled us, and our stars haven't had their A game up in Toronto, and hopefully they've woken us up. And so I think it will be kind of a close game. I expect us to be in control most of the game. Maybe they make it close for the first quarter or quarter and a half or something, but I would expect the Cavs to win by 5 to 10. But I wouldn't be shocked if they ended up winning, being up by 15 for most of the game, kind of like similar to game one.
I expected Tim. The spread's 9.5. I expect the Cavs to cover that. And the over/under, I think, is 219. I expect it to be over. I think the Cavs are going to. I think this might be a statement game of how they
hope so.
Shit the bed in Toronto. Like, okay. Because, I mean, it's got to be, Brian, because this is what happened to us the last time that we played like Orlando, and we were up big on Orlando the first two games, and we go there, and then it ended up being a dogfight. Nobody's expecting this to be a dogfight, but damn, it's turning into one, and especially it's just because they can't shoot. They can't make a bucket. I mean, Brian, they've been throwing up prayers and still can't hit, the bottom of the net on that one. So if they start shooting better and other people start making the basket instead of passing it back to James Harden and Donovan Mitchell, I think you need the whole team to shoot, Brian. They need to be able to cover everybody, because if not, they're going to clog up the lanes on Harden and Mitchell and make them kick it out to people that aren't making shots right now. And you need those guys to make shots. You need Sam Merrill tonight. You need Max Strus tonight. You need Jalen Tyson tonight. Unfortunately, I know that Brian hates Dean Wade. You need Dean Wade to make a couple big shots tonight. He doesn't need to go off for 24 points. A couple threes from Dean Wade tonight will go a long way.
Sure. Yeah. You just need a couple buckets when they start making their runs to give you some breathing room again. And I mean, really, I don't know if the crowd had that big of a effect up in Toronto, but turnovers were a huge issue. We had
James Harden turnovers.
10 plus turnovers, maybe 15 turnovers in one of those games. And so you really have to take care of the basketball and give yourself a chance. And hopefully you get some home cooking. You get some calls that Toronto was getting in game 4. But you got to keep it cool, because they're going to make their runs tonight. I feel like you gave them some life. You gave them some energy. They think if they can just pull this one out, they can close out the series in game 6. So you can't give them any hope. But yeah, just get it done. It's one game. Don't make it anything bigger than that. I don't think must win. Feels safe to say, but like if they lose this game, I don't think we're done, because we went to Toronto. We should have won game 4. We hung with them in game 3 for 3 quarters, and then I don't know what happened. They just caught fire. So I'm excited to watch it, and I just hope we get off to a hot start.
Right, I say it's a must win, because I'd rather be up 3-2 in this series than
of course
down 3-2 going back to Toronto of all places.
But I'm not scared. I'm not scared of Toronto. I think for whatever reason we didn't win, we should have won. So hopefully, I don't know if we just lost focus. I don't know how to explain it. Maybe we just had an off shooting night. But I have confidence in them still that they'll get it done. But yeah, at no point did I think we were going to sweep them this series.
Well, as I said, they tip off here in about 5-10 minutes. So we'll be watching that. It is on ESPN. So everybody, please tune in. Play a full 48, not stop at 40. That is from Big Mike.
Yeah, that's what they did in game 3. Well, and so it's nice that it's on ESPN. I looked ahead. Game 6 is Friday on Amazon. So hopefully you got Amazon.
Oh, I definitely got Amazon. I've been loving it.
A lot of people do.
I got Peacock and Amazon, so I've been able to watch all the playoff. I'm telling you what, the series that's got me intrigued right now, it's Orlando and Detroit. Those two are going at each other.
That's tonight. Yeah, that's tonight too. I think they already started. They did like a live look-in.
Yeah.
Here. So I talk about a must win. There you go.
Yeah.
Do you have a preference on who you'd rather play between those two teams if we make it out this round?
To be honest, Brian, I think they're both kind of the same. I mean, they both play a bigger brand of ball. I think Orlando shoots a little bit better, especially with Bane and Suggs. than what Detroit does, especially from the outside. But from what I'm watching of these games, I mean, man, they are going at each other, and it's been fun to watch. I mean, I'm watching just not even like a melee, but I mean, it reminds me seriously of 80s and 90s NBA watching these two teams go at each other, because it's been crazy. Either we can handle the ball or not. Yeah. Either we can handle if we play the ball or not. Trash the last two games.
Yeah, hopefully they get back to playing the way they did in games 1 and 2. But I warn people that if we do make it past Toronto, because unfortunately we won't get together, we won't talk. By the time we get together next week, it'll be on Tuesday. We'll know what either the season's over or we're moving on to round 2. But don't get too cocky. Don't get both. Detroit and Orlando can beat you, so you're gonna have to step it up. Don't breathe like a sigh of relief, like, oh, thank God we have Orlando instead of Detroit. I don't think many people are too scared of Detroit, but yeah, Orlando can beat you. Hopefully, you remember the series a couple of years ago to where if you don't have home court advantage in that series against Orlando, which thankfully we would if we played them this year. I think they probably win that series against you a couple years ago if they have home court. So
I think so too.
Tread with caution.
Let's see here. Oh yeah, Big Mike's loving the Hawks. Tell you what, the Hawks made a pretty smart move, bypassing the Cavs and then going at the Knicks.
I like that. I told you at the beginning of the series, I like that we're playing Toronto, because I feel like they'll give us a tough test. So this is what we need. We need that wake-up call. That series against the Heat did us no good last year.
All right, Brian, you ready to get into the NFL draft?
Oh, yeah.
All right, so the Browns, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Brian, I'm telling you what. I sat there and I have criticized the crap out of Andrew Berry. And I have been a Andrew Berry hater. And I texted you after the first 2 rounds, Bri, and I'm starting to think that Depot had a little bit more hand in the cookie jar than what people thought. I love what he did this draft. I think he had a very, very solid draft with who he drafted, Bri. I mean, you had 4 guys that in the first couple rounds were, day 1, round 1 grades. Now, was it people that we thought was going to happen? No. But the draft was kind of weird to start out the night anyways, especially Carnell Tate going 4. And then kind of everything kind of going through that. Justin said he was pleased with the draft. I was pleased with the draft. The one thing that kind of caught me off guard, Bri, is when we traded down from 6 to 9. And I was like, okay. I'm like, here we go. Damn it, Big Mike. Barry making believers out of the haters. Thanks, Mike. But I'm watching that trade down. And I'm like, all right, we're there at 9. And I'm watching everything fall to 9. I'm like, shit. I'm like, Caleb Downs is still there. I'm like, this is going to be great. And then they took Spencer Fano with their first pick at 9, which had been leaked out earlier that day and like a couple days beforehand that he was kind of like their top guy. And Bri, I can't argue with it. They decided that he was their top left tackle, and they went after him. And they even came out as soon as they drafted and said, hey, this is our starting left tackle. And then they went down at pick 24 with KC Concepcion. And it kind of threw me for a loop there because I thought they were going to go with a different wide receiver. I know that he's had his problems with the dropsies, but he is an elite playmaker once he gets the ball in his hands. So, Brian, how'd you feel about the first 2 picks in the first round, and then we'll get into the rest of them?
Sure. Yeah, I thought it was maybe not perfect. I would give it you got to give it at least a B or B plus, though. Because I agree with you. Andrew Berry, I thought, did a very good job. You hate to give him credit for, I don't want to say making no-brainer picks, but going in, making picks that not overthinking it, I guess, is how I'll put it. Because we all knew going into this draft, there were two positions that the Browns had to upgrade because we were just piss poor, and that was wide receiver and tackle. And 4 of our first 5 picks, we got wide receivers and we got tackles. And so, they're sitting at 6. I'm sure they had plenty of conversations with Kansas City beforehand, and Kansas City had their guy that they wanted to move up and get. And I think, Andrew Berry said on the radio, there were 3 guys that they were looking at, and they took Fano, so we knew Fano was one. He said Carnell Tate was another one, and then he wouldn't name the third. And so he left that for speculation. I think the third, and he said the third was not a tackle. So it's not Maui Noah or anybody. Fano was the only one. So I think it was Tate. I think it was Tyson, and I think it was Fano. And when you're sitting there at 6, you have Tyson and you have Fano, and I have to, more than anything, I have to applaud the Browns' intel coming up to the draft, because they knew that tackles would probably go off the board quicker than the receivers. And me personally, beforehand, I was worried that all 6 wide receivers at the top of the draft would be gone by 24. But the Browns had the intel that the tackles would go a little bit quicker. So they were comfortable trading from 6 to 9. And they knew, we have these 2 guys that we want, and we trust that one of them is going to be available at 9. And it turns out one of them was available at 9. That made their decision very easy, because you just take Fano and you keep it moving. Now, it would have been interesting had Tyson and Fano both been available at 9, which way they would have gone. They still might have gone Fano because, again, their intel might have told them that the tackles are going to be off the board by the time you pick 24, even though I think Caleb Lamu didn't go till after that. So, but I don't think it could have worked out any better. You get the number 1 tackle, and then you get 2 of the top 6 wide receivers with your next 2 picks. And so I think, based on what Andrew Berry said a couple times, we talked about Tate, we talked about Tyson, and we talked about Lemon being the top 3 receivers. I think the Browns saw it as Tate and Tyson being a top 2, and then there being a drop off after that. And so they said, one of these 4 receivers should be available with the 24th pick. And so the one nitpick I could say is, I probably, like a lot of Browns fans, probably would have preferred Omar Cooper from Indiana, because the narrative was out there about Concepcion and the drops. And so that's what everyone wants to bring up, even though I think it was what I heard 7, I've heard 9. But in all honesty, if your wide receiver gets you 120 yards and has 1 drop in the game, every other game or something, you're not really going to care about that if he has that production.
I get that, Brian, but we also, the thing is we've had Jerry Jeudy.
Right.
And it's kind of a little salt in the wound right there when you get a wide receiver that's known for the dropsies, but it's a
touchy subject. I agree. And going back to Braylon Edwards too.
Yeah.
No, I agree with you. That's why, and you throw in the fact of all these Ohio State players at the top that everyone likes. Everyone's praying that Carnell Tate is going to fall to you. And there was also somebody who was in the war room who, when Carnell Tate was drafted, a couple of the Browns guys in the war rooms, I forget the exact quote was, one of them looked at Andrew Berry and said, that helps us, right? And he nodded and said, yeah, or something. Because I think it would have been a hard sell to Browns fans if Carnell Tate is there at 6 and you trade down to 9 and then he goes at 8, like Jordan Tyson did. That's a hard, Browns fans, it would have been a whole different outlook if the Browns passed on Carnell Tate to trade down and then he didn't make it to you at 9. A lot of people would have been upset at that.
That was what was hard for me with the trade down, is still seeing Caleb Downs sitting there at 9.
Yeah, but safety's not a need for this team.
You say that, but
If he was Caleb Downs who went to Alabama, how would you feel about Caleb Downs?
Okay, you say that, but also you got to factor in that when you say if it was the Caleb Downs that went to Alabama, it was a Caleb Downs that played on defense with two other guys that got drafted in the top 10. Right. It wasn't like it was Caleb Downs doing it all for Alabama. It was Caleb Downs on a very elite defense at Ohio State. And especially him, and a lot of people saying him and Jeremiah Love were the blue chippers of this whole draft, and he falls all the way to 9, and he's right there. He's on the silver platter right there for you. I'm not saying I'm upset with the Fano pick. I mean, I get it, but I think what pissed me off is the Cowboys ended up getting him. And it was just like,
sure.
Like the Cowboys have done so much shit, and then it's just like, oh, by the way, here's the top safety and probably the top player in the NFL draft in this draft. Here you go. And it's like, God, we had him right there too. But I mean, I'm not upset with what they did. I mean, would you have been upset if they actually took Caleb Downs there instead of Fano?
I think for me, it would have depended on how the rest of the draft played out. Because like I said, we went in, if you were a level-headed Browns fan and you took your bias out of it, you went in to this draft having to upgrade 2 positions.
Yes.
And that was left tackle and wide receiver needed a major upgrade.
Oh, yeah.
And so had we taken Caleb Downs at 10 and then we whiffed on the tackles at 24, Caleb Lamu went before us. Monroe Freeland went before us, and we had to like reach or something. And then same thing at our second round pick. All the top tier receivers were off the board, and we had to reach for somebody. Like if that's the case, then you're like, we had 2 clear needs, and we drafted best player available. Like for me, best player available is a luxury. Like if you're pretty good across the board, you're comfortable with all your starters, then you can draft best player available. But when you have a glaring need like wide receiver, you have to address that.
Like if we were Kansas City, or if we were
sure,
if we were actually a playoff team and in the playoffs all the time, you would have been all right.
Or even a team like the Bengals that were there. Like offense is good. Defense, you need anybody. You need to draft the best defensive playmaker. I don't care what position they play. Yeah, totally fine with that. But for me, like the defense is miles ahead of the offense. So to give them another weapon and to leave your offense just reeling and scoring 14 points a game and not trying to improve that, like, I don't know. I've seen it. Last year was the year to upgrade the deep. Even though the defense was very good last year, we upgraded that and made it better. Like eventually, you have to score points in this league.
Yeah, let's get into the second and third round, Bri. And I believe this is where Andrew Berry killed it. With the first pick in the second round for the Cleveland Browns, he took Denzel Boston, 6'4" wide receiver out of Washington. Then, buddy, he made some magic happen. Emmanuel McNeil Warren. Got him. Traded up to get him at pick number 58. And then at pick 86 took another tackle, Austin Barber from Florida. I think this is where he killed it because I think Denzel Boston and I think McNeil Warren are going to be some studs for this team. Because, Brian, we don't have – I mean, do you trust Cedric Tillman?
No.
Okay. So we actually have a tall wide receiver and a short wide receiver. We don't have short wide receivers all across the board anymore, Bri.
And what's funny is I think if you take Carnell Tate in the first round at 6, I don't think you take Denzel Boston with your second round pick because they play similar positions, that bigger wide receiver. So to have a speed guy who's a little smaller and a big guy, I think that just couldn't have played out any better for us.
Yeah, and especially with the contrast of Concepcion, because now you got your X wide receiver, you got your big wide receiver, and this is going to make me question, Brian. We're going to keep an eye on this, especially during training camp. But somebody doubled down on Jerry Jeudy during the press conferences. Not naming names, Andrew Berry. But
I didn't hear that.
yeah, he kind of is like, Jerry Judy's our guy, blah, blah, blah. And I would too, because you're the one that traded for him and you're the one
That's
that,
all you got.
well, you traded for him and then you extended him. So yeah, I would go to bat for the guy that I traded for and extended.
Sure.
And see, here's James. I was mad that we traded a pick when we needed a safety.
No.
Or Caleb Downs.
Is he a Buckeye fan? We got to know, James.
Oh, yeah,
Do you just want a Buckeye, or I mean, it worked out pretty well for the Browns.
It did.
Getting maybe the second best safety in the draft at 50.
Yeah, at 50, and hey, he had a round one grade on him, Bri. He had
everybody's mocking him in the first.
Round one grade on him. So those guys were round one picks that you got at 50. The first 39 was Boston, but 58 for Warren. And we actually, when we did the mock draft, the Epic 216 mock draft,
I remember
we took McNeil Warren there at the Toledo kid. I was mad. Oh, he was mad that Cincinnati traded the pick to the Browns.
Oh, he's a Cincinnati fan.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I would agree that Cincinnati needs all the defensive playmakers they can get.
49ers fan. I'm sorry.
Oh, James. Yeah, James, of course. I thought it was a different James. Yeah, I know James is a 49ers fan. I don't know much about their defensive personnel, though.
I don't either, but I think they killed it there in the second round. Do you have anything else in the second and third round that you want to get into, Bri?
No, not really. Well, let's see. The third round, I'm trying to think. So we had 70 and we had 74, but we traded up I thought that was a great move. You see a guy who most people had in the top 25 of the draft, and you see him sliding, and you're aggressive, and you go up and get him because you have 2 third-round picks. And why do you have 2 third-round picks? Because it was a little underwhelming when we first found out that we were trading down from 6 to 9, and we only got a third-round pick for it. So, but that turned out to maybe be the difference to where we could trade up and get McNeil Warren, and then we still had a third-round pick, which I think they ended up trading it down. And that was the one gripe that I have, and it's solely about me because being in Medina here, we had a chance at 74, take the local kid, Drew Aller, and then he drops 2 spots, and he goes to the freaking Steelers.
Yeah.
Could you imagine? So let's say your most hated team is probably Michigan. Am I right?
Yeah.
So could you imagine if you had to go to Michigan for 4 years? You had to go to Michigan for 4 years. There's nothing you could do about it. Like, how pissed off and bummed and just sick to your stomach would you be?
Well, hey, Bri, it's the NFL. He's getting paid very well to go to the Pittsburgh.
I know, but still, there's a human factor to it. Like, you grew up, like, their story. His dad is a Browns fan. He grew up going to Browns games. I remember hearing that when he was young, his parents said instead of like Christmas time, instead of getting coal in your stockings, if you were a bad kid, you would get a terrible towel. And so, like, you saw that when he got drafted, he was not happy. He did not want to put on the hat. He didn't jump up and celebrate that all his dreams would come true, that he made it to the NFL. He was, oh my gosh, I have to go to the place where I have been taught to despise for my entire life. Now I have to go there and I have to work for them. Like, so the human element is there that, but sometimes you see that and your heart breaks for it. Especially, it's like Bernie getting drafted to the Steelers. Like, similar. Bernie obviously became a legend with the Browns, so we think of him in such high regards. And he grew up a big Browns fan. But had Bernie gotten drafted and had no choice but had to go to the Steelers, I mean, it's the same thing. And in your career, your legacy in this league depends on pretty much your first 4 years in the league. Mm-hmm. So that was a tough moment for me personally. That put a damper on my Friday night, even though I was riding the high of getting the Toledo guy. That one kind of stuck.
Yeah, and I know everybody wanted Drew Aller.
He's a project. He's not a finished anything, but a lot of tools.
I'm kind of like Ken Carmen on this one. He was like, he's got to go somewhere else to be successful, because if you bring him in here especially with this quarterback room, and then him being the Cleveland native, everybody will be clamoring for him. They're going to throw him to the wolves at some point in time, and he's not ready for it. And then it's just going to Brady Quinn. Sure.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. What a great story that was.
Yeah.
When we got him.
All right, Brian, let's get into the last rounds here. We got a center from Alabama, Parker Brashford. Hey, we got Justin Jefferson. We should be happy about that.
There we go. Right.
Joe Royer and Carson Ryan, both tight ends. And then, Brian, the intriguing pick of it all, with 182, Taylon Green, quarterback out of Arkansas. Brian, I'm intrigued by this pick. And a lot of people are saying, well, he's not going to play quarterback. He's going to go wide receiver. He's going to be like Josh Cribbs. He's going to be a punt returner. He's going to be this because of his speed and how athletic he is. Brian, I don't think so, because where was Todd Monken at last?
Baltimore.
And who was his quarterback that should have been a wide receiver or something else?
Sure. Mark.
I'm not going to lie. I kind of like this pick. I think this is a sneaky pick for the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah. I don't know how you could hate on this pick. I mean, the physical tools that he possesses is exhilarating. It's intoxicating. It's unbelievable. Like what he is as an athlete. Like if he was just a wide receiver, if he could just catch the ball, like 6'5", runs 4.3 40. Like that's better than Calvin Johnson. It's bigger than Calvin Johnson. So like if he could just ever figure it out, I mean, just complete a couple passes and run around, like just, and to get him in the 6th round, you barely have to give up anything. I mean, certainly if the Browns keep Dylan Gabriel around and choose to put this guy on the practice squad or something, a lot of people are going to be pissed off, but he's kind of the anti-Dylan Gabriel, to where his stats of his physical stature just are eye-popping.
Yeah. Tell me you can't hear the ad that's playing right now.
No, I don't.
So I'm looking up Taylon Green right now. He ran a 4.36, vertical jump at almost 44 inches, Bry. Broad jump at 11 feet. So as of right now, for the combine, production score, he ranked 7th in quarterbacks at 68. Athleticism score, 99. First in quarterbacks. Total score,
right.
77. Total score, he ranks 2nd in all the combine with the picks. So, I mean, it's just, I like this as a flyer. Like you said, it's a 6th-round pick. Like, come on, people.
Right.
People are like, oh, like, why can't he? Why can't they develop him as a 6th-round pick? I've seen other people do it. Brock Purdy. Let's just keep running down the list of people
Tom
that
Brady.
developed Tom Brady. I mean, maybe this guy is our Tom Brady, right? And the athleticism is there. And what I like most about it is Monken has worked with Lamar Jackson for how many years? All right. He has also worked, well, it was Carson Beck in Georgia, but he's also worked with athletic quarterbacks in Georgia when he was coaching there as an offensive coordinator. Like, this guy is an athletic freak. I mean, just unreal athleticism. And did you watch his Gruden tapes, Brian?
I did not. No.
You got to go back and watch the Gruden tapes. Kid's smart. The kid's very smart.
Okay.
And I think this will probably be the best. I think this might be the best thing for him, especially being behind somebody like Deshaun Watson and Shedeur Sanders. There's no expectations of him to play at all. All right.
None.
And let this kid learn. Let him I don't want him on the practice squad. I know that. Put Dylan Gabriel's ass on the practice squad for all I care. But he'll be the 3rd quarterback. Let him be the third quarterback. Let him absorb everything. Let him get the practice reps. Let him get the mental reps. And let this kid develop, because I think there's something special with this kid, Bri.
Yeah, I mean, he's the freakiest of the freaks at the quarterback position. I don't, to my knowledge, we've never seen an athlete with this size and this arm strength and this athleticism play the position.
Richardson?
Who's that? Oh, Anthony. Okay, yeah, that's a good comp. I can't really remember exactly what his numbers were, but I bet they're probably similar. I thought of Terrell Pryor, and okay, let's try. Well, let's try him a quarterback, maybe for the short term. But if that doesn't work out, then he's on a 4-year contract, and we could try him at wide receiver then. So yeah, I mean, for 6th-round capital, to get a guy like that's exciting. And I don't know, to be honest, I don't know the rules well enough. Now the NFL has these emergency quarterbacks. Like, you carry 2 on your game day roster, and then you have a 3rd emergency quarterback. Are you allowed to play that guy like in certain packages, or can you only play that guy if the first 2 guys get hurt? So
that's what I'm kind of curious too. But
right.
From what I heard from Andrew Berry is he's wanting to carry 3 quarterbacks on the roster this year.
Okay, so not even as an emergency quarterback, just 3 of your 53.
3 of your 53 would be quarterbacks.
Well, if that's the case and he makes the roster, then I would say you could expect him to play in some games and play in some packages, because if you didn't have any intentions on using him, you would just make him the emergency quarterback. Yeah. So it's going to be fascinating to see. We know Andrew Berry does not like to admit when he has been wrong and when he has had a bad draft pick. And that's what he's going to have to do with Dylan Gabriel, a 3rd-round draft pick. Andrew Berry does not cut 3rd-round draft picks 1 year into the NFL. So even him trading Dylan Gabriel for a 5th-round draft pick is kind of him admitting that it was a whiff. And I don't even know if he can get a 5th-round pick. But one thing that was pretty eye-opening to me was the fact that I'm pretty sure I heard it correctly that Andrew Berry got 2 4th-round draft picks for next year.
Mm-hmm.
So I know they're 4th-round picks, but
hey, that's currency in a good draft next year.
People are clutching their draft picks for 2027. They do not want to give them up, any of them, because, like, start the hype machine now. It's not just the quarterbacks. They're talking about the 2027 draft as maybe being one of the best ever. So we'll see how that'll play out.
Yeah, you got Jeremiah Smith coming out in that draft. You got all the quarterbacks.
This wide receiver from Texas. Yeah, there's probably like 7 or 8 quarterbacks that could, if they have a good enough year, could go number 1. And then you hopefully have a handful of other guys going in the top, 15 or something like that. So, yeah, you're going to be hearing a lot about it. We're 360 days away from the 27 draft. So nobody wants to hear about that now, but as a draft nerd, I'm excited.
Casey, thank you for the thumbs up. Damon, thank you for the heart, my friends. Casey Kinnaman from the Barking Browns podcast.
And what's up, Casey?
Damon. So thank you guys so much for the likes here. All right, Brian, one last, blurb on the draft, and then we'll get into Fat Boy Tuesday so we can go watch the Cavs game, because they are down. Oh, Brian, they're down already. Did they start to come back?
I have 16 to 10. Yeah, I have 16 to 10. That's all right. Plenty early, but it's, well, we're not even to the halfway mark, so just gotta play some defense here. I mentioned Drew Aller being bummed that the Steelers got him. They also got our guy who you were falling in love with, Jennings Dunker.
Oh, I know. As soon as I saw him go to the Steelers, my heart just dropped into my stomach, Bri.
Yeah, we hate him now.
It was almost like getting a Christmas present and then opening that Christmas present and there's nothing there. You ever seen those videos where the parents give them, oh my God, it's a PS5? And then you open it and there's nothing in there. That's what it felt like watching him go to Pittsburgh. Like, I was like, oh no, not the like anybody else besides Pittsburgh or Baltimore, even Cincinnati. I would have been okay with them going to Cincinnati. But
Right.
anybody else other than Pittsburgh and Baltimore, and then they do it. And I'm like, I can't do it right now, Bri. Just
You have to hate him now.
God,
He's a bum. He's a big P. He's a wuss. He's soft.
I know.
Yeah. Well, and the thing that sucked, I mentioned Drew Aller and Dunker. Like the Browns had a chance at drafting both of them in the third round. So if we could just take our whole draft and swap our third round for the Steelers' third round, I mean, I'd give them maybe an A+.
Oh, you just go through the roof on that one?
Oh my gosh, you're kidding me? I mean, as a fan looking for entertainment, there'd be nothing better.
I mean, but you think about that, Brian. We wouldn't get your boy from Toledo if that happened.
I know, but we did have 2 third-round picks, so we gave up just one of the third-round picks to move up. So there might have been some maneuvering that we could have done, but that surprising. I was surprised to see they took another tackle. Was it the 4th round or the 3rd round?
3rd round, Barber.
Yeah,
why not?
Yeah, but I don't know. I feel like our
free agents you got are on short contracts, bro. You got Titus Howard, who's a 3-year guy. It's a development.
3 years. 3 years is still a long time for the NFL.
Tackle, you got DeJuan Jones, and now you got another tackle in here. So I think that's good. Yeah. I think you got 4 tackles, 5 tackles that you can develop, and maybe this kid turns into something. But if he doesn't turn into a tackle, Bri, he could be a guard. And especially now that you got the center from Alabama, too. I mean, you can't go wrong with that also. I mean, that's another pick that we got to, the center from Parker Brasfield. Browse. Every time I hear him, you remember Mr. Brasfield at work?
No, I don't.
The one that always has like the Cajun accent?
Oh, no, I don't. But,
oh, my God. Okay, you'll remember him. But yeah, that's what I remember. Mr. Brasfield.
Oh, yeah. The guy that was playing all the time.
Yeah.
Phil Brasfield. Yeah, no, I remember that.
So
yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, and he could end up starting for us. As a 5th round pick, it sounds crazy, but people are high on him, and he's got a ton of experience in college, and maybe not the biggest guy, but the one thing and I know you can't get everything in one draft, and the Browns seem to love to do the double up. We've seen it now 2 straight drafts with quarterbacks, running backs last year, and now tackles, wide receivers this year. But it would have been nice to see them get a cornerback. Mm-hmm. They must just think that was just bring in a couple of veterans. What's that?
Well, you got 2 tight ends that they drafted, and I thought for sure they would at least address the slot corner position, but they didn't. Maybe they think in free agency they can grab somebody off a practice squad somewhere that doesn't work out.
Sure. That's another guy, Royer, that people seem to be high on. He had some flash plays, and I've heard the experts saying, it was a wonder. Where did he go? Cincinnati. They didn't get him the ball more because whenever he had the ball, he made a difference. So, another guy, if he can, doesn't have to be great this year. He just has to be good enough to be a backup tight end. So then the BYU guy's more of a blocker, but
what you need, because if you think about it, all you really got is Fanning right now at tight end.
Oh, so, exactly. Right.
Bringing in 2 tight ends, late picks, I'm okay with it. I'm okay with the tight ends.
Yeah, no, I mean, like I said, the one thing that I can nitpick was the not getting a corner, but I'll live with it. We got what we needed. He didn't overthink it, and he doubled up. He got a couple good wide receivers, and thankfully, you don't know whether to call Andrew Berry a genius or just lucky that we got 2 of the top 6, because that's all we could ask for.
Yep. All right, buddy, you ready to talk some desserts, and then we'll finish out the show here?
Yep.
And now, it's time for Fat Boy Tuesday.
All right, Brian, it is Fat Boy Wednesday. So we're going to get into it. And I was thinking about this because, most of the time you see all these deals that are going on now with like the Bazooki from BJ's Brew House. It's the cookie with the ice cream on top of it. You get like a deal where, hey, you get a main entree, you get a Bazooki for $13. You got the Applebee's isn't the same way, but you're getting a lot of these. Even Arby's has got that $7 meal now with like an apple turnover that kind of comes in the box. So I want to talk desserts with you a little bit, Brian, because like if you're going to go to a restaurant or anything like that, what are some of your favorite desserts that you like when you go out to eat and go out to certain restaurants?
Sure. Honestly, for me, who's not a dessert guy? Who doesn't like dessert? But it kind of just depends on the situation. It depends on your surroundings. Like I feel like my dessert that I would have at home would be different than my dessert that I would have at a restaurant.
Yeah,
would be different than my dessert that I would have at a fast food restaurant. Like
100% agree.
Pretty rarely do I have dessert if I go out to a restaurant. I'm much more inclined to get an appetizer than a dessert. But if you're out at a restaurant, usually it's cake, that you might split with your significant other, or maybe it's a piece of pie that you might just devour yourself. But if I'm at home, it's pretty much, I would say 80% of the time is probably ice cream.
All right.
And if my wife will make some cookies, I'll smash those. So that's what it is. And then fast food, trying to think, you mentioned like the peach pie from or a peach turnover or whatever they do at Arby's, like something like that. Yeah. Something that's not going to be messy, something that you can eat while you're driving, most likely. So a turnover.
I think the most iconic
Rallies.
I think the most iconic one is the apple pie from McDonald's.
That's what I was thinking. Sure.
Yeah, and I'm with you. Like if I'm at home, it's brownies, cookies, ice cream. Huge brownie fan, by the way.
Sure.
But
do you make the brownies? Does your wife make the brownies? Do you go out to like crumble cookie? Like,
so
I don't go out much for crumble.
We don't go out much either. But if we get certain establishments now that are pizza places, do the dessert with brownies, and they're amazing. The brownies and good. Like I think Papa John's does the brownies.
Right.
Marco's, I think, does either a brownie or a cookie in the oven. So you kind of get your sweet fill with that. If you're going out to eat, Bri, I'm not going to lie. I'm a whore for cheesecake.
Oh, okay.
Cheesecake is my go-to, especially if you go to like a nice steak restaurant and they ask you for a dessert and you get, whether it be it comes out with like the strawberry glaze on it or, whatever. Yeah, cheesecake is like my go-to, especially out at dinner.
Wow. Uh-huh.
Also, Bright can't go wrong. Go to certain Mexican restaurants. Fried ice cream.
Oh, now you're talking.
Can't go wrong with that. I forgot about that. Churros. Oh, God, the churros.
Do they have them at Mexican restaurants?
Oh, hell yes. My boys, they did nothing but order churros last time we went there. And I'm like, what do you guys want? They're like, I want 2 tacos and 2 plates of churros. I'm like, are you too serious right now?
That's what you can do when you have their metabolism, I guess.
No shit, right?
I didn't know you were such a big cheesecake guy. The only time I ever will order cheesecake at a restaurant is the Cheesecake Factory.
No, I'll do it. I'll do it at other places. But yeah, I grew up. So God rest her soul. My Aunt Donna made a different kind of cheesecake. So it's not like your normal cheesecake that you get like at a restaurant. It's a lot more fluffier.
Okay. Uh-huh.
But man, let's see here. Pineapple cheesecake from the Cheesecake Factory. Raul's in here.
Ooh, that sounds good. I haven't had that one.
So, but yeah, there's something about cheesecake because it's like it's not a pie, but it's a pie.
Okay. Like plain, you'll just do plain cheesecake. You don't care.
If it's a good New York style cheesecake, I will do plain cheesecake.
Huh. Okay. I never really had it. I was probably after I got married, or maybe before. But yeah, like I said, the only time I ever have it in my life is Cheesecake Factory.
Well, and then you also got the tiramisu. Always got those.
There you go. Yep. Now you're talking. My wife loves
The
tiramisu.
molten chocolate lava
Yep.
brownie cakes or whatever the hell they have out there now.
Creme brulee. She got down. I'm exposing her a little bit. She got down on some creme brulee on our cruise a couple years ago. She fell in love with it.
I bet she did.
I didn't care. I had cold beer.
All right. So, Bri, before we go over to our top three, is there one dessert out there, your hottest take, one dessert that's out there that you're like, and I'm good. I don't want nothing to do with that dessert. Whether it be a restaurant.
Well, since we're talking about it, it's plain cheesecake. I don't
really?
think.
So that's.
Yeah. If somebody had it, if my wife ordered it, maybe I would take a bite, but I'd be like, that's you. You can have that.
Is it because it doesn't have all the fruity goodness on top of it that you like?
Yeah, it's just kind of very plain, and I'll save the calories. Like, it's not bad. If I was really struggling for something sweet, I guess I would eat it, but I would never ever crave it.
Okay, mine is, and I know a lot of people don't have it, and I am a fan of it, Bri. I am a fan of it, but at restaurants, carrot cake.
Oh, I love carrot cake.
I don't like it at a restaurant. Like, if you're out at a restaurant, like, I'm not, like, I feel like you're out there to indulge. Like, you're going out to eat. You want the chocolate. You want, like, the naughty stuff when it comes to dessert. And when I think of carrot cake, I don't think of that.
I understand that. Yeah, it's a bit of an acquired taste. They make the icing pretty sweet, so I would think most people, but some people probably can't get over just the fact that it might have carrots in it.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Cavs are tied up, by the way.
All right, let's get this moving. Let's do our top
down
three.
three.
Then we'll do our trivia and we'll get out of here. Here's the top three sounder. All right, so top three tonight, Bri, is cartoons growing up. Whether you're growing up or an adult, top three cartoons that you like. And the reason why I brought this up is because I'm finding some oldies that I'm getting into with my kids now that have been absolute fun for me. And it's bringing me back to like my days of Saturday mornings at like 9 o'clock in the morning with a bowl of peanut butter Captain Crunch and one of the big spoons and just sitting down and watching Saturday morning cartoons. So, Bri, I will go first, give you a little example of what I'm dealing with. So, right now, my top three, number three, Bri, and it's on Disney Plus, the X-Men cartoon series. Alexander and I started watching the X-Men. And it was the one from the 90s. They even did a reboot of like the 97 X-Men. So we've been watching that. I forgot how awesome that was and how much I was a fan of all the X-Men as I was younger. Number two for me, Bri, can't go wrong. G.I. Joe, the real American hero. We got to move. We're actually going to watch it one night, so I can't wait for that. And Bri, number one for me, and it's something that me and my wife have watched, and we still giggle at to this day, King of the Hill. I don't know what it is about King of the Hill, but it just cracks me up with I love it. It's my top one. If it's on, I'm watching it. So, an honorable mention, obviously, Family Guy. Family Guy's got to be on there too. So, all right, bro, give me your top three.
There you are. You gave my honorable mention. I felt like Family Guy had to be mentioned. Mm-hmm. I don't even know. Do they still make new episodes of Family Guy?
I think so.
Like when I was in college. Yeah. When I was in college, we used to watch that all the time. We loved it. And so that's like the one cartoon that I could say, like, as I've been an adult, I would watch. Like, I don't religiously watch it. I don't even watch it really that much, but if I had to sit down and watch one cartoon right now, it would probably be Family Guy. And I feel like I could probably be entertained by it. So you bringing it up, I started going back in my Rolodex, trying to figure out what cartoons I really loved growing up. My number 3 was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the cartoon.
God.
I got into the movies a little bit, when they came out in the 90s, but it really started with the cartoon and then the video games as well. Number 2, I'm going with, do you remember it was Thundercats, I think?
Oh, yeah.
Did you ever hear of Thundercats? Okay.
Oh, yeah,
I was just making sure I got the name right because I'm pretty sure it was. I used to love. I had like this big castle, and I had all the action figures. And don't you dare call them dolls; they were action figures. When I was probably 6, 7, 8 years old, something like that. So, love that. So you do okay? I can't remember. Lionel was one of the guys.
Lionel
who was the Rhino
Scurf?
guy?
Scurf? Was it Scurf or Scurf?
I don't know. That doesn't ring. There was a Rhino guy, I thought. Oh, Donovan Mitchell hit a 3 from about half court at the end of the first. Cavs up 4.
There we go.
Okay, so then my number 1 was Transformers. Never really got into the movies. I think I maybe watched one of them, and it was just a bunch of explosions. But the cartoon Transformers, I was obsessed with growing up. I used to love Bumblebee. That was my guy. And other than that, yeah, those are the 3 that just loved as a kid.
Justin said it was Snarf. This is the guy I was looking at, the little fat guy.
Snarf. I'm thinking of some Rhino guy.
I know. Justin said Transformers, South Park. South Park's definitely got to be in there.
Oh, sure.
And NMA, Death Note, Pantero, Cheetah, Wild Kitty, and Cat.
Chitara. That's right. I remember. Yeah, that's right. That's right. I remember that. Okay, it's coming back to me now.
Oh my God. So great. So great. Our childhood.
See, there was another one. It wasn't Seahawks. It was something Hawks, Battle Hawks or something like that. Well, Battle Beast too. Now you really get me going down a rabbit hole here.
Gargoyles as a kid.
I was gonna put Arthur. I used to watch Arthur in like elementary school, and my brother used to give me the hardest time. Like, you nerd, why are you watching Arthur?
Yeah,
I like it.
I watch Gummy Bears religiously.
Okay,
I can't see anything.
We're allowed to have some guilty pleasures.
Oh,
doesn't have to be the coolest thing ever.
God. Give us in the comments. Clip this, by the way. I gotta say that because it'll AI clip it for us. Clip this. Give us your best cartoons growing up or as an adult right now. Give us your best cartoons. Like I said, my kid Alex is loving X-Men right now. What is the other one that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles they absolutely love. And there's so many different versions of it now, Bri.
Yeah.
That it's just it's unreal, but still the old school ones are the best. You know, the ones that we grew up with in the 80s and the 90s are always the best. So all right, Bri, let's get into our trivia, which is brought to you by City Dogs Cleveland. Bri, they went back-to-back wide receivers in 2026 with Casey Concepcion and Denzel Boston. When was the last time the Browns went back-to-back with wide receivers?
Well, for some reason, like the early 2000s came to mind, and the 2 names that I came up with were Mohamed Massaquoi and Brian Robisky. Is that right?
That's right, buddy.
Both of them.
2009.
2009. Okay, so maybe I was off a little bit by the years.
Yeah, that was the last time the Browns double dipped, and they were both in the second round, remember?
Yeah, right. And I feel like Vaikune maybe was one of the draft picks around there too, or maybe linebacker from USC. Yeah, all the failed draft picks start coming back.
All right, everybody. Thank you guys so much for joining in tonight. We want to thank our troops and first responders for everything you guys do. We could not do this without you. Please, for the love of God, bring the gas prices down underneath $5 a gallon right now, Brian. I don't know if you've seen that, but that's getting ridiculous.
I haven't. But I did see diesel over $6.
Yeah, it's not good out there. Not good out there. But, Brian, we're here at the end of the show. We want to thank everybody. Please give us that like and subscribe or anything. Brian, God bless them.
God bless you. God bless America. Go Cavs.
That's what I'm saying. Go Cavs. We are definitely uncorked, unloaded. And, guys, we'll see you next Tuesday. Have a great night.